Welcome back, guys. This is Jason, KM4ACK. Today, we're going to take a look at the lights out bag. Stick around and we'll get right to it. Real quick before we get going today, I've got to give a shout out to these guys. They're my latest patrons over on Patreon. If you'd like to help support the channel, I'll leave a link to Patreon down in the description below. This is a bag that I have put together. Its primary purpose is focused on a power outage. However, it also serves a secondary purpose as well. This bag lives in my master closet. That also happens to be the designated safe space in the event of a tornado. So you will see a few items on the bag geared specifically towards that. But let's go ahead and dive into the bag and see what I keep in it. Let's start on the outside of the bag. I've got a metal tag that hangs on the outside. It just says emergency communications on one side of it. On the reverse side of that is phone numbers for friends, family, and neighbors all listed. And guys, this isn't something I've had in my web store in the past, but I will go ahead and put those in the web store in case you'd like to have some of these tags as well. Now, moving right along, the next thing you'll see up is on this little cord, I keep two things. I keep just a little push button light there, and the second item is a whistle. Now, a whistle really isn't for a power outage, but it's designed more in case the house takes a direct hit from a tornado. If you were buried in rubble, it's going to be much nicer to have a whistle than trying to yell for help. Eventually, your voice is going to give out. The whistle will allow you to send out an alert much longer than trying to yell with your voice. You'll also see various flashlights on the outside of the bag. Now keep those on the outside just so that if we are in the dark, they're quick and easy to find. So I've got two here and there's another little bitty guy over here. In addition to that, I keep some chem lights on the outside. So if we want to maybe break one of those and leave it kind of in the pathway or maybe just in a restroom to light up a very small area, they work pretty well. They also work well just kind of illuminating a pathway through the house so that you can find your way from one end to the other if you don't have your flashlight handy. So let's go ahead and dig into the inside of the bag and take a look at what's in there. Right on top is a trusty Baofeng. Man, these radios take a bad rap a lot of times, but they're great little inexpensive radios for kits like this when you don't want to leave a $300 HT laying here all the time. But if you turn it on, you'll find that it is tuned to the National Weather Service. So even if my wife is here alone, she can just grab this radio, turn it on, and it's already tuned to the National Weather Service. Many of our power outages are related to weather, so I like to have that ready to go. Next up is a weather radio. Now I keep this one in the package. It is one that's designed with a crank on the outside of it, so you can charge it with solar or you can charge it by cranking it a few times. And guys, I'll leave links to a lot of these items down in the description below if you're interested. Now, this next piece of equipment comes from my photography gear, actually. I just don't use it in the photography gear anymore, but it's a 8.5 amp hour battery with a built-in pure sine wave inverter. So the reason I like to keep this, we don't have cable TV or satellite TV. We only have over-the-air broadcast. This battery will power a TV for several hours should we need it. So if the power goes out, we've got bad weather in the area, I'll go ahead and plug the TV up to this, and I can still receive the local TV stations so that I can get up-to-the-date radar information. One of the next items in the bag is a bag of tea lights. Now these are just little bitty candles. We can light these and set these in various rooms or various places. It just kind of helps save the battery on the flashlights as we're kind of going through the evening. Do be careful with candles though, and don't leave those unattended. I also keep a couple of packs of brand new batteries in here, and I date the back of them to tell me when these were purchased. That way I know if I need to replace them or not. And I tend to go through this bag once a year or so, roughly, and just kind of check everything. Make sure that we've got full charges on the HTs and on the flashlights, but we also have spare batteries in there. This one is AA and this one is AAA. And I believe it says these are good for 20 years. I probably wouldn't trust them quite that long, but 8 to 10 years should be okay. Next up is a headlamp. Now, I prefer headlamps often instead of a flashlight. It just allows me to keep both hands free. So I do keep this one. It is buried kind of in the bottom of the bag, so you can grab one of the flashlights on the outside until you can dig through the bag and grab a headlamp. And this one runs on 3 AAA batteries, so if the batteries happen to be dead, we'll go back to one of those new cards that I just showed you. Next up is button lamps. Now I ran across these on Amazon and I picked up a couple of packs of them and have tested them. It's not a super bright output light, but again, one of those things that's nice to maybe lay in a smaller area. You can turn it on. They've got several hours of runtime. And again, just keeps you from using your flashlight all the time. So pretty neat little devices here. And finally, we've got an old school AM/FM radio. This one runs on AA batteries, and actually I don't even keep batteries in this particular radio. This is more of a last resort type radio, since I do have FM broadcast that I can listen to on the Baofeng. But if you need it and everything else is dead, this could come in handy as well. So there's a look at what I keep in my lights out bag. Do you know of something that I missed? Leave it down in the comments below. And make sure everybody in the family knows where this bag is kept in case you're not around when the power does go out. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next video. Until then, 7-3.